everybody, I'm Nora Burrows. You know that I'm always trying to find things to do with these little bits of fabric, these little pieces that are even too small to crumb quilt with. And I had an idea. I was up in my attic the other day and I found these clear ornament balls that I had bought years ago, and I thought we would try to use these little bits on these balls to make ornaments. I have a couple different ideas, so let's see what we can come up with. I have my ornament here, and you can get these right now in this season at any craft store. So I'm gonna take this top part out. This is just Mod Podge. I got this Mod Podge at the dollar store, but again, you can get this at any craft store. And I'm gonna take a little bit of the Mod Podge and just paint it onto a little bit of the ornament. I've never done this before, so this is gonna be a surprise for both of us. All right, so I have 2 bins of fabric here, 2 bins of these scraps, and I'm gonna kind of just shake them out onto the table to kind of see what I have to work with. So let's see. I'm gonna just kind of take a piece here and smooth it on and take my scissors and trim off. And I'm gonna kind of just layer these pieces on. Taking a little bit more Mod Podge, and I'm putting a little bit of Mod Podge over the edge of the first piece I put down. I'm not keeping too much track about colors going together, and I'm trying to work a little bit quickly so that the Mod Podge doesn't dry. Kind of get those edges down right on top with the Mod Podge. I think we need a little more. There we go. And same over here. And let's see. This black and orange fabric is kind of cool. And snip off the edge here. And again, put a little Mod Podge over it. Okay, that's looking interesting. Some pieces aren't laying totally flat. I'm gonna try and push them down with my brush here. But let's keep going. Let's keep going, go a little farther down. So I'm gonna use this same fabric that I used here and kind of bring it up the side. I'm gonna put it all the way up to the top of the ornament here. This was a Star Wars fabric. You can see the little droid there. And here's C-3PO. I love this pop of orange. Let's put this coming right down from the top, right there. And this Mod Podge, even though it's white, it will dry clear. Here's a piece of stripe that I just used on the pumpkin placemats that you may have seen. I love this fabric. I feel like I used this fabric on something else too. Oh, I used it on a quilt block. I was calling it a Halloween quilt block, but it wasn't really a Halloween quilt block. But this is the one that I said I thought looked kind of Paris-like. This is going to reach all the way to the bottom of the ornament. So this process is going pretty quickly. This is another piece that I used on the pumpkin placemats. Here's a little bit of Yoda. That's cool. Let's get Yoda on there. I'll do another strip coming down the side here. Maybe we'll do a couple strips. And trim that off. Let's do another one. Let's do this blue. And then secure that on with the Mod Podge. With this project, you can't have too much Mod Podge. You just keep layering it on. All right, we need something for right here. About this triangle, that'll be good. I always seem to end up with a lot of triangle pieces at the end of my quilting projects. There's a little polka dot. I like that polka dot one. This was from the Peekaboo blocks, I think. That's part of the fun of doing these kinds of projects with the little bits, whether it be scrap quilting or crumb quilting or using your tiniest pieces. It gives you a chance to kind of go back over and remember the projects that you used all of this fabric on. This piece just got randomly stuck on here, but let's secure it on. I like that. Nice. We need more Mod Podge, more pieces. And then this one is kind of sticking up past the edge, but what I can do, I think, is just kind of push it around to the side. And there. I like how it kind of comes down and is all furry down here. This piece has a little seam in it, but I think that's okay. I think we'll just put the Mod Podge on and secure it on there. I think it should be all right. So when you first put the Mod Podge over some of these pieces, it looks very foggy. But let's take a look at the other side. Here, so this is the other side that's dry. This is all foggy because it's freshly Mod Podged. But then once it dries, it'll be nice and clear. This is coming up a bit. Let's put a little more Mod Podge under that piece. And put a triangle piece down at the very bottom here. Oh, this is the same triangle piece as this one here. Let's separate them with a strip. How about this blue strip? And this strip I'm not even going to cut. I'm just going to wrap it all the way as far as it goes. I have a little piece right here that I need to fill. Let's do this little blue strip. This is looking really good. Let's see, where else do we need to fill? We need to fill right here. else. I think right here needs something. I love this green. I think we're almost done with this one. Oh, that piece came up. It ripped. That's okay. All right. So now I think I'm going to let this dry a bit, and then we'll put the cap back on. Let's work on another one. Start with the Mod Podge. This is kind of an interesting shaped piece here. Maybe I don't need to cut these tails off. Let's see what happens if we leave them on and we try and just scooch them around the ornament. Seems like that could work well. Yep. And then the other side. Okay, that worked. Let's use a strip of the Yoda. Let's now try taking just some of these shreds and just trying to push them on here. I don't know if this would work. And maybe the shreds, you know, now that I think about it, I think the shreds probably need to go over something so that there's a background. Let's try and push these shreds over to the part of the ornament that I've already put some fabric on. This might not work. We'll find out. This is okay. I don't know. I don't know if I love it. Could be cool though. All right, let's see what happens when that dries. Here's another one of these weird shaped pieces. Let's see if we can wrap this like we did to start. Let's do more of this stripy fabric that I like so much. Right there. And some pink. Okay. We need a bunch on the bottom. Orange against the orange. Little strip of blue. Triangle of purple. This would be a great project for kids or grandkids to use up all your little bits of fabric to make little ornaments. It'd be a great kids project. Something they could definitely handle. And kind of a contained mess and easy cleanup. Or if you have a bunch of people over for Thanksgiving, you could kind of pour some of your pieces out onto the table and let people just go at it. A little fun Thanksgiving craft project. Okay, I think we're almost done with this one. Let's see. It becomes tricky as you go on because your fingers are so sticky, they pull up the pieces. Okay, let's let this one dry and let's do just one more together. I think a set of 3 would be really nice. I might have to kind of push some of this stuff down, but let's let that dry and do another one. Let's start with this dark midnight blue and black fabric. I like that as a background. Before I continue on with this one, I actually want to put another layer of Mod Podge on this first ball that we did. It's still a little bit wet. Maybe we'll wait. Actually, let's go ahead. Let's put it on now. So I'm just going to do a thick coat starting at the top and going all the way around. And now I'll put this one aside to dry. All right, let's continue on with this one. More of this Star Wars fabric, even says R2-D2. I love the little novelty prints for this kind of thing because you just get little bits of the novelty peeking out of different spots, and that's really fun. Unfortunately, I don't seem to have a ton of novelties in my bits of fabric here. I have them more in like my scraps and crumbs. I don't know where all the little novelty bits went. Let's get some pink on this one. This is a nice long strand. Let's see what we can do with this. This could be kind of cool. And then this piece starts to get a little bit thicker. I can just keep going round and round. I like the idea of that. And it's okay if you end up totally losing, you know, some of the first pieces that you put on as you layer. It's all a surprise. Like I'm layering up this R2-D2 now, which is kind of sad, but it's totally okay. It doesn't matter. You just don't want it to get too thick, I think. You don't want to put too many pieces of fabric on top of each other, but maybe that's okay too. I mean, then it would just be more three-dimensional, which would be kind of neat. Okay, here's the end of it. And let's right away get another bit on here. Just keep going. Now we're getting a lot of pink on this one. Let's get something right here. My favorite green. Let's do that right there. Now this is getting a little bit thick. I have quite a few layers of fabric here, but it still seems to be okay. Everything's still laying flat, which is the important thing. And so I have this little strand here that I'm just going to leave there and see what happens with it. Kind of push it over. Here's some little pieces. Let's put these little pieces up here on top of the ornament that's already been covered in fabric. It's just a little detail. Same with this green one. About right over here. I like that. Okay, we need something right here. Maybe a little triangle piece. Actually, we'll do this piece, which is not a triangle at all. do this pop of blue. And this one's kind of long. Let's see what happens when we curl this one all the way around. Kind of want it to meet back where it started. But I don't know if that's going to work like that. Keep it going. There, that's good. Okay, I think I have the most fabric on this ornament than I do on any of the other ones. So this one might come out a little bit differently. This one could actually be put into the crumbs. I'm gonna put this in the crumbs. That one's a little bigger. Same with this one. This is a crumb. That's a crumb. Get those out of there. We're not working with crumbs right now. Ooh, look at this one. That's cool, but you know what? We've done a lot of those long strand ones. We need more like squares and rectangles and triangles. Here we go. And then I think we just need to get around this top here and we might be done. I have a lot of these blue pieces here. We'll just layer these up right around the top. That could have an interesting effect. You'll see here, this got a little overlapped, and I'm just gonna press it down. It'll eventually just meld to the ornament if you glue it enough. Let's see, are there any other spots? I think we got all this. All right, let's put this one aside. All three of these now have a thick layer of Mod Podge on top. Let's see, I think this is the first one. This is the first one that we did together. And then here's the other two. Then after I put the thick layer, I let them dry for a while, and then I put them in the oven on the lowest possible temperature. So for my oven, it said warm, and left them in there for 15 minutes. And that worked pretty well. These are nice and dry. This is what I would say. So we're gonna do one more thing to these, but this is what I would say is I think if you are more careful than I was to just make sure that everything is really laying flat, like you can see that this is like kind of bumpy here. And there's a couple places that are kind of bumpy like that. I think if you know, like over here, here's some, it's kind of bumpy. If you really make sure when you're putting every single piece on that it's nice and flat and really take your time, I think they'll come out better. I think my first one, this one probably came out the best, and I love this little piece here. So what we're gonna do now is, let's see, let's put our tops back in, and then I have some of this decorative ribbon that I thought maybe we could put kind of around like that. I thought that might look nice. Let's try it. So I'm gonna cut the tip off here and then use a little bit of hot glue to just seal the end there. Oh, my hot glue gun might not be hot enough yet. There it is. And then, let's see, where's my ornament? Here it is. Okay, let's see. I'm try and put some glue right around the edge here.
And then I'm gonna snip off this other side and put a little hot glue. Kind of just press that. Okay. So I also would say that perhaps being more selective in your fabric choices. I do feel like these are a tiny bit boring, to be honest. Like there are some really fun spots. Like I love the little Yoda poking his head out, and I really like these stripes here. So there are some nice pieces to this, but I think if you're really more selective, like for example, if I used more pops of color like this, right? I think that would look really cool. Or you could even do, you know, all red and green fabric would be really neat for Christmas time. Let's put a little ribbon in the top here. I have this. Let's see if this will work. Might be too thick. I mean, it'll definitely fit through the hole, but it might look too bulky. I don't know. That looks nice. Okay. Just cut some of that off. All right. So I definitely think these have potential. Let's finish the other two up. Okay, here they are hanging from this branch. I think they're looking pretty good. They're really fun. I mean, I think they could be even more fun with brighter fabric, more exciting fabric. You could, you know, like I mentioned, do Christmas fabric or just really bright colors. But the idea is there. There's a seed of an idea. The thought behind this works. And then you could just keep going. You could, you know, add glitter. You could add gemstones, rhinestones, more ribbon, all kinds of things. So this is just the beginning. I have one more idea. Let's go back to the dining room table and try one more thing. I have one more idea, and this one should go pretty fast. And hopefully this isn't a cop-out, but I think, you know, could be interesting. I thought I would take all these teeny tiny shreds, this might actually be more of a pain than I'm anticipating, and just fill this up to the top with these shreds. I think this is gonna take longer than I anticipated. It's actually not all that easy to get these shreds in here. So I'm gonna start filling this up and then I'll check back with you when it's a little bit fuller. So I'm not putting the triangles and, you know, squares and rectangle pieces of fabric. Like even this one is bigger than I'll put in there. But just these smallest bits, I'm just gonna shove in here and just see how it looks. Let's keep going. You know, you could do this idea for dog ears, like as you cut your dog ears off of your fabric, you could just stick them, you could have one of these little ornaments and just stick the dog ears into this, and then it would be like your whole collection of dog ears. That would be kind of cool. So I have this almost completely stuffed. I was kind of using these scissors to really push everything down in there. And I could fill it up a little bit more, but I think what I'm gonna do instead, I have this idea. I got these diamonds years ago at a craft store, and I'm gonna try and just fill this top part up with the diamonds, and maybe they'll kind of fall to the sides as well if I start to push them in there. Yeah, like that, look. Now the diamonds are right there, right? So that's kind of cool. Let's keep filling them up. I think there's more room in here for more. Kind of just pushing them around. And then I thought what I'd do is take a little bit of the glitter glue and kind of just paint it around the outside just to give it a little bit of extra sparkle, which I don't know if this makes any sense. I mean, you have like scraps of fabric with the diamonds, but that could be like kind of a cool thing, right? Like opposites are artistic, perhaps. But I do want to be able to see the diamonds. I don't want them to fall into the middle of the fabric. I'll have to take pictures at the end so you can really see them in there, because right now the way the light is bouncing off the plastic, it makes it hard to see them. There, that's a better angle. So there's not many on that side, but then you get a bunch of diamonds right there. Let's put more in. So that seems good. I think that's really cool. Let's put the lid on and then add a little bit of glitter to the outside. See, some of these diamonds ended up the wrong way. Their backs are to the outside, but I don't know if I can fix that. These ones are facing correctly. Okay, I have my paintbrush, I have my glue. Let's get some glitter on this thing. And then I'm just gonna kind of swoosh it with my paintbrush. Just all around. Just to give it a little bit of sparkle. Now, I am not a fan of glitter. I highly dislike kind of that loose glitter. I feel like it just makes a mess and gets absolutely everywhere. But as long as, and then you get like a piece of the glitter on you and you can't get it off, and it's always like around your eye. Sometimes I've gotten a piece of glitter in my eye and then it agitates my eye. I really hate loose glitter. But whenever it is in this glue form, it's great because it's just totally contained within the glue. All glitter should be glitter glue, in my opinion. Okay, so it's giving it a little bit of a sheen. I hope it looks less cloudy when it dries. I think it will, kind of similar to the Mod Podge. I think it needs to dry and then it won't look so foggy, I hope. But then this one will be done. I'll put the ribbon around the top like I did for the other ones. And then I'll show you when it's all dried.
So they're finished. 2 different methods that you can try. Do I love them? Not really. I think they're fine. Would I give them away as gifts or anything like that? No. They're cute. I'm still on the search for the perfect project to do with all the little shreds. I mean, it also didn't put any real dent in my shred teeny tiny piece stash here. So I need to keep experimenting, which is fun. I love experimenting with fabric. So let's keep doing it. Have fun with these ornaments. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.